Call this meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There was 2 additions to the council agenda. So it's going to be action item I, farmers market banners, and then action item J, 2024-2025, LMCIT, personal liability insurance quote. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Consent agenda, was there any questions on that? I just have a couple resolutions. Resolution number 2024-19, a donation amount of $2,000 from the Melrose Lions towards the Chamber of Commerce for the Riverfest celebration. Resolution number 2024-20, $1,000 from the American Legion Post 101 to the Melrose Area Chamber of Commerce towards Riverfest celebration. Resolution number 2024-22, a donation of $5,000 from the Melrose Lions to the Melrose Fire Department for the new ladder truck. Unless there's anything else, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. There's an open forum. If there's anybody here that just needs to talk or has any, wants to talk at the open forum, this is your chance. All right. And now for the fun part, presentation. Presentation to the Minnesota High School Speech State Champions. Mr. Punsack, I was just wondering if you can come up here and tell us a little bit about the speech team. We have 3 state champions this year. Can I give me the proclamation?
Right here, fine?
That's great.
All right, perfect. So the Melrose Speech Team had one of its most successful seasons ever. I believe we took 12 or 13 first place trophies home this year out of the about 16 that we went to. So that's remarkable in and of itself. We also saw a ton of individual growth. The head coach and I were talking a lot after the end of last season, and we're like, wow, we lost so many great speakers. How are we ever going to top this? And our seniors really stepped it up. So last year we had 1 state champion, and this year that tripled, and now we have 3. So that is worth a little round of applause. So they definitely rose to the occasion. We had a super successful preseason, a super successful postseason, taking 2nd place at the state meet after winning subsections and sections. So 2nd place at the state meet, not too bad with, I think about 150 teams are in our class. So taking 2nd out of all that is really an accomplishment. And actually, when we won state for the first time in 2019, we actually got more points at state this year than we did in 2019. So if we would have just transferred our score this year to 2019, we would have blown it out of the park. But it still wasn't enough, which shows how fierce the competition is now. But again, we are extremely happy with 2nd place. No complaints at all. With that, we had 9 state finalists, 8 or 9 state finalists, which is remarkable as well. Yeah, and we had people who were super, super close to breaking into finals. We had people placing very close to getting state champion, just a point or 2 off from winning. And we're proud of all of our accomplishments, and I wanna say that regardless of how you place postseason, it's remarkable that you're even on our team participating, helping the team out. Even if you weren't state champion, we still want to recognize all of our Melrose Beach team members because they do so much to help those who win. So, is it okay if I call up our state champions?
You bet.
All right. First, we'll have Amelia in info. Come on up. Amelia has had one of the most beautiful seasons. She's had the most beautiful season we've ever seen in speech. She has taken first place at every preseason meet except for one, and that's because one random judge decided she didn't like her. But the rest, she's gotten first place every single time. And we've never seen that before, so that's remarkable. Took first place at state, very well deserved. Amelia joined just a couple years ago in 10th grade, and since day one, she was a force to be reckoned with. But this year, she was ready to do anything to get that first place medal around her neck. And she did just that. Again, perfect season, won state, went to nationals, and was one of our first national finalists. So that's super exciting as well. For reference, there are thousands of competitors across the nation who try to make it to nationals. Only about 160 to 200 actually make it to the national tournament. And she beat out about 160 to 200 other people to make it to the finals. So, remarkable feat. She's a wonderful performer, wonderful writer. Another round of applause. We'll have Michaela Zervis come up next. Michaela Zervis joined us when she was in 8th grade. She's in the category of great speeches. She kind of took a while to find her niche, but eventually we found it, and the year she joined Great Speeches, she was a state finalist, got 3rd place, and this year she was bloodthirsty to get 1st place. So we decided to kind of go against the grain with what you typically see in the category. Usually in Great Speeches, you choose a speech that was really good and had great benefits to the world. But we wanted to stand out this year, so we had Michaela choose different speeches that had the opposite effect, that were extremely damaging, and we analyzed how damaging they were to our society. And that's what gave her the competitive edge and got the blue around her neck. So, congratulations to Michaela. And our 3rd state champion, Drew Punzak. So I kind of know Drew, I guess. He might be my brother. So Drew has been in speech with us since 7th grade, and he's been a very fun performer since day one. Not always the best, but he learned eventually. He found out how to make people laugh and entertain people. And the last 3 years especially, he's really committed to social justice, and so his category is creative expression, so he gets to write his own 10-minute speech, and it's acting, and he always chooses to have a funny speech. So he'll use his creativity and his wit to have a point. So he will advocate for different groups that he feels they need more voices. So he's gotten great compliments. In fact, one of his judges recently said, "This speech is more than just a speech. This is going to save lives. Thank you for advocating for this topic." So, obviously he's had a lot of success. 10th grade, he was state champion. 11th grade, he was state runner-up, and then senior year, he got his state champion spot back. So, congratulations, Drew. Also, he recently went to nationals as well and was our other national finalist. He ended up taking 3rd place, and we completely changed his cutting about a week before the tournament, so we had to rememorize everything, rememorize his intro, rememorize how to perform everything, and let's just say there was a little anxiety before his first round, but he used that to his benefit and ended up taking 3rd at nationals. Again, I'd just like to recognize our whole Melrose speech team and everyone who supported us, because we could not have 3 state champions up here without the super supportive teammates from all the different organizations that donated to us. We greatly appreciate it. And we can only do so much as coaches without funding, and that extra funding helps us bring them to nationals, helps us practice with them more at state. So, yeah, thank you.
So yes, I do have just some little certificates for you and little gifts for you. But I remember all three of these kids in St. Mary's School growing up first, second, third, fourth, and, you know, with one of my children, and it's just amazing to watch all of you have grown up, and it's been exciting to see some state champions again in our community. So excited to see all of you on the billboard. It'll be a good time for Melrose. So if you would like, just come up here. We'll take pictures with you. We'll give you your certificates, and then we can let you go. So thank you again.
Thank you. So, here's Michaela. Here you go.
It's spelled right this time.
Nice.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you so much. You bet. Here you go. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys take a picture.
Thank you.
So yeah, we'll take some pictures here.
There we go. Keep going on.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations to the whole speech team, and especially the parents for, you know, guiding your children to do the best that they can. So it's good to see that. And coach, you did a great job this year too, and wish the other coach congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll see you. All right, and now, Caitlin, we're gonna induct you into the Melrose Police Department, so we're excited to have you here. I'm really glad you decided to come here in Melrose, so we'll make it easy for you. Right here. All right. All right. Raise your hand. I state your name.
I, Ken Ham,
Have been duly appointed as a police officer for the city of Melrose
having been duly appointed as a police officer for the city of Melrose
and the state of Minnesota,
and the state of Minnesota,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will defend,
that I will defend,
enforce,
enforce,
and obey
and obey
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
the state of Minnesota,
the state of Minnesota,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Melrose.
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Melrose.
That I will obey the lawful orders
That I will obey the lawful orders
of my supervisor officers
of my superior officer
and the regulations of the Melrose Police Department.
and the regulations of the Melrose Police Department.
That I will protect the rights,
That I will protect the rights,
lives,
lives,
and property
and property
of all the citizens
of all the citizens,
and uphold the honor of the police profession.
and uphold the honor of the police profession
With my life,
with my life,
if needed to the best of my ability,
if needed be to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And congratulations, parents, too. All right, we are on to reports. Stearns County Attorney, Janelle.
This just gives me joy. I was runner-up, the state champion in, I won't even say the year, creative expression. So yes, I understand. And absolutely, I stand before you today because of that. Absolutely. Out of the Blooming Prairie team, we had a number of state champions that came out there as well. So good coaching matters. That was the teacher, I assume?
Yep.
Wow. My son's a teacher too, and it's like, wow, what they do. Very cool, and it really says a lot about the community and your school system. And again, I can say as an alumni of a very similar sized school, there were 84 kids in my graduating class. This is the kind of community that I came from too, so good for you in supporting them and to give this kind of recognition to those kids when they're working that hard. It's time consuming and it's nerve wracking, and that's cool. And one of them's even in my category. All right, and a new cop. Life is good. Life is good. Let's talk about, first, let's talk about the people that came through the office that were first-time offenders this year. In the last few years, ironically enough, we have seen an increase in the number of people entering the system for the first time, unfortunately. Now, the good news is they're for the first time, but the bad news is there's just more of them. So we didn't end up having any adults out of Melrose this year. We did have a couple juveniles. And we're seeing a lot more juveniles successfully complete the program, so that's good. Please do let us know if you have any community service projects here in town. A lot of times kids who are in trouble in other towns would rather do their community service somewhere else, and vice versa, so please let us know if you have any of those that qualify. And the chief knows who those kids are and what it is that they've done, and the good things that have come with that. When we look at this blue and red one, are your Melrose City prosecutions, the misdemeanors that my office does for the city. As you can see, those are right straight on par with last year. Yours was one of the few that was actually very consistent with last year. We have a lot of new police chiefs across the county, and we tend to see some fairly significant shifts when we get a new chief. Just differences in policies, maybe some different officers, maybe some different supervision going on. So this is just a testament to Chief Moss's consistency, and the work that we get out of Melrose is always, always very good. So you can see your numbers there are pretty much the same. When we go to the next one with the green on it, that's what we see from a county-wide perspective in terms of some of the more serious crimes in Melrose. And there again, you see a really remarkable consistency with last year. You had 18 felonies in town this last year. 3 of those were committed by juveniles. 15 of those by adults, but they're a cross-section of domestic violence, terroristic threats, a couple of people who decided to flee from the cops. We always catch you. We don't necessarily chase you at high speeds the way that we used to, but we know who you are. In fact, one of these persons actually stopped, identified himself, then took off. Won't be hard to find you. 3 drug crimes, but none of them that were huge. So that's good. That's good. We've had a number of good-sized fentanyl busts across the county this last year, but that has not been as big an issue here in Melrose. So seeing good investigations, again, some traffic things, some property things, some person crime things. But overall, the 18 felonies, when you go to the last page, are only a small fraction of those that we are seeing countywide. Again, about 1,000 felonies per year, and 18 of those years, actually only 15 adults. We are seeing a general drop in most crime categories. Unfortunately, the 2 that remain strong are homicides and attempted homicides and gun crimes. Primarily persons who are armed shooting at each other versus other people getting involved in the crossfire. And again, getting very good investigations. We have been fortunate in Stearns County that law enforcement is respected and is so strong that we're able to recruit and retain good officers. Glad to see another person entering the profession today. We have been very fortunate because of the county's support for law enforcement in individual communities. So even though recruiting is not as easy as it once was, we can still do it, and we're still finding that we're getting really good quality folks that are making it once they get into the profession. Any questions?
No.
All right.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Chief Mouse. First off, I want to say thank you. I know it's Memorial Week for peace officers around the country, and I do hold it dear in my heart for all what our peace officers do. Thank you for what you do and the rest of the staff.
Absolutely appreciate it. So April, in our traffic area, we had 15 citations, 59 verbal warnings, 0 written warnings. In this year, we had 236 calls requests for service. Last year was 244. We ended on ICR 1,094, and last year was 995. So we're up by about 100 calls for this year so far. and 12 agency assists, and that number's been sitting pretty low. Usually we're closer to the 30s for the last several years, so I don't know what's changed, but it's okay. Some things to note, end of school is coming, so we'll be seeing people out and about in different time frames coming up in the next few months here, so keep an eye out for those people. We are in a hiring process right now. We are hoping to find another qualified applicant to add to the department, do some training, get them on the road. Mock crash, we completed that in the beginning of May with several departments, our fire department, our ambulance department, lifelink, sheriff's office. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the funeral home to participate this year. They had too many things going on, but it was a good, impactful event. All the students that were there really took some information from it, as well as took notice to what was going on. And we plan to do that every few years. We don't want to burn out the message, as well as we still want everybody to be able to see that before they leave their high school career. So that'll be coming again in the future. Nuisances, I'll be starting those next week. I was hoping to start them this week, but pile up after working nights. I need to get back to all the stuff on my desk again. So that should be next week. It is looking better than normal, at least from my drive rounds I've been doing so far. So I'm hoping that number is low, and we should be early enough in the season that if we do have any that need attention before fall, we should be able to square those up. Squad cars, we have all of the cars that should be here are here. We have graphics on the brand new one. That one should go in the end of the month for all its equipment. So we're hoping parade ready. The Durango we bought from Albany, we have some programming to do, and that one should be ready to go. So we should be back to normal on squad cars after roughly 28 months, give or take, or a long period of time anyway. But I may be coming to you to order the next squad car because I'm concerned about wait times. So we will see how that goes, probably by the end of the summer, maybe a bit sooner. Other than that, I think that covers everything, unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Chief.
You bet.
City Attorney report, Mr. Scott.
Yeah, as you can see, there's ongoing work with development projects. We've got one in the industrial park. Again, I think the council's been kept apprised as we've been, kind of found out, final terms that something the city can live with and something that the business can live with. So continue to work on that. Also, then you'll see in your packet tonight, you're being asked to approve a development agreement with the residential project as well. Finally, again, more nuisances. This is, meeting and trying to make some plans and come up with an approach to deal with, some of the commercial properties around town that are starting to look a little bit run down. This is, separate from, the largely residential program that Chief Mouse runs. So we're, if anything, trying to expand and address some of the commercial ones. It sounds like for the residential people, you're not getting a break. Chief Mouse will be out there. And you will hear from him. Now we're trying to see what we can do about the commercial properties as well. Any questions?
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks, Scott. General Fund First Quarter Financial. Ryan.
You should have received my full first quarter reports. I just wanted to hit a few things as highlights. The revenues are going to look a little bit goofy. Licenses and permits are really high. That's just because of the timing of everything coming due at the beginning of the year. You're going to notice that tax revenue and LGA, the state funding that we get, that's at zero right now because that all starts coming in June. So second quarter should correct itself. But when we look at our expenditures overall, most things are at that 25% where we want to be after the first quarter or below. Capital projects doesn't have much of any spending, but that's because things don't start ramping up until we can get outside and start working. So the only ones that look a little bit high, the fire department had higher than usual maintenance expenses. That just has to do with their annual inspections and things that we do at the beginning of the year. And the capital spending looks a little high, and that's just because of the new extraction gear that was bought in January. But other than that, everything's looking good as we start 2024. So if anybody had any questions on it, tax bill.
I didn't.
No. Thank you. Sheila, Community Development Director.
Good evening. The Planning and Zoning Commission next Monday is going to be having a public hearing on a conditional use permit for Gerber Collision to expand its location. This request will then come to you in June. We plan to have a plat for the Melrose I-94 Industrial Park at the June Planning and Zoning meeting, which will then come to you in July. And we are currently working with Carson's Industries on their site plan and their building permit application. The Park Board and the Streets and Parks crews continue to work on some smaller additions for the park. You'll notice the kayak launch has been installed. It is a kayak launch, it's not a fishing pier, but people are using it as such. They will be striping the basketball court. They just installed some new grills. And coming to you later in the agenda is a discussion about fishing stations and fishing platforms. And they've been busy planting trees, and we've been getting a lot of compliments on the trees. They look really good. And we're also working on an information kiosk and the Lions. Because of the rain that came, we've had to bump around the Lions playground installation a little bit, but it is still coming. Off of what Scott talked about, the building officials were actually here yesterday touring commercial buildings on Main Street that could use a little attention. So there's more to come on that. We're just looking for safety. In addition to appearance, we're worried about safety. And so that's where that's coming from. And then also, I just want to take a minute to acknowledge the Arts Council and their Festival of Arts that they put on. We were very willing to be partners for that up here. It was a very nice event. And you will see in the next week that they are kicking off their Flowers on Main Street project. And so we just want to acknowledge the work of the Arts Council this spring.
Thank you, Sheila. Mr. Blemmel, City Engineer Report.
All right, we're going to transition from planning to actually building stuff now, so tonight's is a construction update more than anything. Ryan, we will help that capital project next month with get some costs out from the contractors here. So, all right, Main Street. Everybody knows that's not as easy as it once was to navigate, but things are making progress. We've got about a block and a half of sanitary sewer and water main in. They will be closing down the intersection a second and fully stop again on Wednesday or Thursday next week for about a one-day shutdown to get the storm sewer out of the intersection. Once that's done, we won't close it up again. So hopefully it's a pretty minimal impact for the residents. Certainly a big spot in town, so we don't want to shortchange that. But next Wednesday or Thursday is the plan, and I'll know more on Monday. So that's coming. Active transportation sidewalk. Sidewalk is fully poured, looks really nice. If you've been up there, I was really happy with the construction, the quality, it looks really good. All their tests came back and their concrete is in good quality as well. So things are looking up on that. They're backfilling that thing today, and then they'll seed it next week, and it's hopefully going to have that thing done. So we'll have probably, honestly, mostly a final payment June 8th for that. So Railroad Avenue is the other one that's out there and under construction. Curbs in, looks pretty good out there. The paving was scheduled for Monday. We are hearing that the contractor's having problems with their plant. So more likely the 27th, we did the 27th for paving. So again, that'll be a good one to get off the list and get those residents a nice smooth road to go on. It's been pretty solid. So otherwise, that's what I have for you this evening, at least at this point. Otherwise, action items coming up later. Questions from me on construction?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Clean.
The legislature is wrapping up, and I don't have any reports at this time. I fully expect that next month I will be able to provide you with some additional information, and it doesn't look like they're going to go into special session, so we'll see what happens if they actually are able to get done on time. And then the rest of the stuff I have is later on the agenda. I don't really have anything else to report at this time. So.
All right. All right, we are on to action items. Fishing stations.
As in your packet, you had a picture of a likeness of a fishing pier. The staff has been working with the DNR on fish stations, fish platforms for the Sauk River Park. This was an item that was included in the plan for the park based on the LCCMR grant, so it was included in there. The DNR is offering to provide 2 of these fishing stations for the Sauk River Park at no cost to the city, except for our installation and ongoing maintenance. We've also have the idea of using this station for the educational signage that we need to put in the park. And so the agreement was in your packet, and as well as a picture. And so tonight, we're asking the council to consider authorizing the agreement with the DNR for 2 fishing stations.
Okay. Did you have any questions on it?
No.
I think it's a great idea. Look nice. So, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, then canvas with the state of Minnesota.
Yes, staff has also been discussing acquiring the easement on the north side of the Melrose I-94 Industrial Park. This is a older, wide highway easement, which the state of Minnesota has held for some time. In work sessions, the council decided to proceed with acquiring the easement on the north side of Lot 4, Block 1, which is currently under a purchase agreement with Carson's Industries. The council, in the work sessions, decided not to proceed with acquiring the easement on Lot 6, Block 1, since it's a wooded wetland and we just didn't see, a use for that. Carson's Industries has agreed in its purchase agreement to reimburse the city for this conveyance at the time it closes on the lot. So tonight we are asking the council to give consideration to authorize the conveyance and the city acquire the easement on Lot 4, Block 1.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Stearns Electric billboard.
Last fall, we received notice from Stearns Electric that our billboard agreement was going to be terminated due to their construction plans. Now that their site and building plan are complete, it has been determined that billboard can stay right where it is, and they've agreed again to lease to the city. The Stearns Electric has provided staff with a new lease agreement, which was included in your packet. As soon as that lease agreement is executed, staff will begin work on ideas to change out the city side of the board, which is something we've been holding back on, waiting to hear if it had to be moved or removed. So we're asking council to consider entering into the revised lease agreement with Stearns Electric.
And we are gonna be doing both billboards, the one that's on the west side of town plus our one side on this one, right?
Yes, we have more to discuss on the other one, but
All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. A development agreement with KL Properties.
yes, so the council, MATA, and staff have been working with interested developers for an expansion of the Highlands area, opening up single-family residential lots for building new homes. Survey work has started in Highlands. This is something we are excited about as we continue to work on the housing study. We kind of checked the box on apartments, and now we are working on giving people an option to build homes, and we just needed some buildable lots. We are expecting 2 plats, the first one to come to planning and zoning in June. This is the first expansion of Highlands since 2002, so it has been 22 years since we've seen an expansion of Highlands. So it's something we're really excited about. To accommodate one of the developments, the city will need to extend Highlands Boulevard northeast to the west and connect it to First Avenue northeast. There are multiple agenda items related to this tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Dave here in a minute. But the first is a residential development agreement with KL Properties. Before the city enters into agreements to build a road, we want to make sure that an agreement is reached regarding the platting and development of the lots north and south of the road. So the residential development agreement was drafted by Mr. Demick. Council to consider entering into a residential development agreement with KL Properties for the expansion. KL Properties has reviewed it and they are ready to sign as well.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve this, 7D?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2024-21, resolution ordering preparation of a report on the improvement special assessment feasibility study.
Part of the recently approved development agreement was that the city would assess a portion of the cost of the improvements back to the developer. As this is not a 100% assessment, we cannot just skip the development of the 429 assessment process. So this is the first step in it, and we'll order the preparation of the report. We'll get that for you at your next meeting for approval, and then we'll just be going down the path of getting another agenda item every month to get it taken care of before everything's ready to go. Questions on the resolution?
Yep. Very good. Can I get a motion approving the resolution?
Make a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Plans and specifications for Highland Boulevard.
So plan specifications, assessment support, all of that is included in the supplemental letter agreement that you have in front of you this evening. Pretty much our standard agreement that we do with you guys always, so it's just a little more items on there, just the assessment stuff, so.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. All right, we're on the G, postage machine, envelope stuffer lease. Ryan,
So our lease for our envelope stuffer and postage meter is up this coming June. So we went out to see what the new lease would cost us. Our current provider gave us a price. The price came back significantly higher than the past. And they recommended that we use their printing service for our bulk mailing services as it'd be cheaper over time. So we looked into what they offered, and then we also reached out to our accounting software provider, and they also work with a vendor, ABT Mailcom, who also provides a service, and they're used to working with our current accounting software. We actually got a quote from both, and ABT came back lower overall, and actually compared to the new equipment, it'd save us over $800 a month for sending our utility bills every month. So the PUC did approve switching to that, and then there is also a Dakota mailing lease just for the other, it's a postage machine that we would be using. It's a $50 a month lease for that machine that will be split between the council and PUC. So tonight we'd like to give the council to give consideration approving both ABT Mailcom for bulk mailing purposes and also leasing the postage machine through Dakota Mailing.
yep. And the PUC did, like you said, approve it on Monday, so can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Phase 2 camera and fobs project for the fire and ambulance station.
Yeah, as part of our comprehensive security plan, we're on phase 2 of the key fobs and cameras project. Phase 2 consists of the fire and ambulance hall, the public work building, and the power plant. We will continue to use Arvig as our provider, and the phase 2 project costs about $45,000, with an option for cameras in the fire hall bay for an extra $5,150. This year's capital budget also included the water and wastewater plant, but we're exploring further options for that facility because it is quite large. A copy of the proposals was enclosed for your review, and we are asking the council for their approval on phase 2 of the fire and ambulance hall, public works building, and the power plant, with the option of the cameras in the fire plant.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried. All right, farmers market banners, who wants to talk about that?
I can, sir.
Okay.
The Melrose Area Chamber would like to head the Farmers Market Banner Project, so the chambers come to us. They would like to order 10 banners. These banners would alternate each side of Main Street and over the bridge. With the flower pots in these banners, it will give our city a little pop of color and art in our streets. They are requesting the council to give consideration approving this project. While creating the design, they made sure to have an elegant look that can be used each year during the farmers market season. They're trying to act fast, obviously, so that it can get approved so that they can go ahead and get them ordered. The cost of the banners was taken care of by an anonymous donor. So what they're really asking permission from the council for is to allow the banner project to move forward, and then obviously our public works staff would be hanging those banners up on our poles.
Yeah, and they're very nice banners.
They are,
So
yeah.
it's nice. And I also just want to thank whoever the anonymous donor was. Thank you so much for investing in our community. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Can I second it?
Oh, yeah.
Being I'm the chamber?
Yeah.
Okay, I second it then.
You better second.
You better second it.
Okay, then I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. No, I guess that's a good point. So, all right, 2024, 2025 LMCIP, property liability insurance quote.
Fresh off the presses, I got the quote this morning for our insurance, which would run through May 15th, 2024 through May 15th of 2025. The total quote was $162,318, which is up from $145,366 for our coverage for 23 and 24. The cost of the premium is shared between the general fund, 37%, and the utility funds at 63%. The overall premium for the year is up 11.66% from the prior year. And according to the league underwriters, this is due mostly to increased annual inflation, and then there was an additional inflation of 25% that was added on each one of our substation locations. The mobile property premium went up 9.6%, and that's tied to our annual premium for the property. The municipal liability premium is up 9.07% due to an increase in expenditures and our overall experience modification. Auto liability is up 19.12%, and auto physical damage is up 25.87%. And that's due mostly to additions of new property and also the rate changes that apply to certain classifications of auto. Our liability experience mod increased 13.67 from last year, and the auto experience modification stayed the same. So the city's insurance coverage has a $5,000 deductible, and that's a $15,000 aggregate deductible for the year. The city needs to decide whether or not to waive the statutory tort limits, and the decision to waive or not waive the statutory tort limits has a few different effects. Most of the time we go with option number 2, but I'll go through them all just so you know. That option 1 would be not to waive the statutory limits, and then an individual claimant would be able to recover no more than $500,000 for any claim which the statutory limits apply. The second option, which we usually go with, where the city waives the statutory tort limits and does not purchase excess liability coverage, a single claimant could potentially recover up to $2 million per single occurrence. And then the third option, if the city would waive the statutory tort limits and purchase excess liability coverage, which for an extra $1 million would be $14,525. A single claimant could potentially recover up to that amount of the limit for the coverage purchased. So, also included with this year's quote was an optional coverage for equipment breakdown. Equipment breakdown coverage would apply in the event that any equipment of the city would malfunction and needs repair. This coverage includes the actual cost of repairing or replacing the equipment as quickly as possible, which is subject to a limit equal to 150% of the scheduled value of the property and $5 million per occurrence. The premium for the additional coverage would be an additional $16,510, and in the past the city has elected not to go with that additional coverage. So we are asking that the council give consideration to approving the insurance quote of $162,318 and to waive the monetary limits on municipal tort liability, to keep the deductible at $5,000, $15,000 aggregate, and not to purchase the excess liability or equipment breakdown coverage.
It's getting expensive to live in the state of Minnesota, isn't it?
Last couple of years it's been going up quite a bit.
It's a shame. All right, can I get a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Ryan, for the work. There is no old business, we're on to new business. There was a potential land sale purchase.
So we have been working with a private property owner, actually started working with them probably the beginning of the year. You received various emails on the property. It's property that's located in our wellhead protection area. And we were looking at that property, the private landowner came to the city seeing if we had a desire to pursue it. So what we did is, they gave us a price on an original 48 acres, and then they came back and gave us a price on the additional acreage. And one of the things, this has been brought before the Public Utilities Commission, both at their April 8th meeting and their May 13th meeting. Because it is in the wellhead protection area, it went to them simply because if we ever had to do an additional well in that area. So we worked with the Minnesota Rural Water Association and also with the Board of Water and Soil Resources. And there were 3 different types of options available to the private landowner. One of them would be where the city would be able to purchase it, and Bowser would pay 100% of the value of the land, and a governmental authority, city township watershed, owns and manages the land in a groundwater friendly land use based on a third-party appraisal. In that case, Bowser would pay 100% of the value. However, the city is still responsible if they chose to go that way with 10% of the land cost for any, the project. That I shouldn't say land cost, 10% would be our participation. That could come in the form of cash, or it could come in the form of in-kind, depending on what we want it to do. So, again, this has been before the PUC twice. The land itself it's in two different parts of our vulnerable areas when it comes to our wellhead protection area. Part of it is in a moderate area, part of it is in a highly vulnerable area. The part that's in the highly vulnerable area was not something that the private property owner was even considering to sell to the city until just very recently. So that's what was brought before the PUC on May 13th. However, the private landowner also wants a stipulation, they want restrictions put on this that says the city could not develop it in the future. Well, if you get one of these grants, you can't really develop it anyway. But one of the things that could be considered on this property is solar, because that is something that is considered something that's, something you could put in a wellhead protection area. But the private landowner was very clear that they wrote right in there that the city could not do solar in the future. So the PUC at their regular meeting on May 13th recommended that we not proceed forth with purchasing this property. So it is now before you as a council, and you can make a decision what you would like to do. Again, we can work with if you want me to pursue this, I can continue to work with the Minnesota Rural Water Association and the Board of Soil and Water to pursue any sort of funding. There was soil borings that were done in this area, and the travel is about 1.5 years for the nitrates in this area. So, it's in a vulnerable area. So, and the concern too is, we have wells out there. We have 2 of our wells. We want to be able to do. Are we going to be able to do wells in the future? That would be the other part of it. And I believe once, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't know as those would be the areas that we'd end up doing wells, or if we'd have to go someplace else. But again, I think it just really depends on what happens in that area for nitrates and some of the other things that are going to make it vulnerable. So that's kind of where we're at. And Joe was obviously at the meeting, so he could probably add more to that. But
Yeah, the hard part is that, we can't build anything on it.
Right.
And we're paying, the price for it. It's hard for us to use the taxpayer dollars for something the water, yes, that's the benefit. But in the future, you're gonna have to see a diversification of wells. We can't just be piping everything in the same area. Same area, you're gonna get the same results. And in the future, nitrates might not be as big of a concern as arsenic that's moving into the area, from the northwest of our area. So there's a lot of other different things that it's a shot in the dark, you just don't know. But if we're buying a piece of land that, we couldn't put our pole barn out there, on a piece, or even potentially, we can't put anything on there.
No.
That's the hard part about it.
And the well isn't even a for sure thing either, right?
well, the well would be. I mean, the well is something that's a public thing, so we could put a well out there.
Yeah.
But as Joe said, it just would depend. I don't know
Right.
what that aquifer looks like. But, on the other hand, if you put it out, or you take it out of any sort of use, then you're protecting the wellhead protection area.
So, yeah, so that was a 2 cents, so I guess you guys have to, what is your feelings?
I feel like if it's not an immediate need, there's no need for immediate action on it.
So, do we vote it down or just table it, if for some reason that something else comes up?
I guess I would say they're probably, the private landowners, maybe they are looking for a decision
Yeah.
to come back from the city, so.
Is there any reason to table it till we have full council?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that it would probably, decision would be any different. So, and, I would probably say just, make a motion down on it. So, just to let them, then they can do what they want to do with some of the other people that might be interested in it. So can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. Motion made and second, not to purchase the property right now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are on to informational items, utility commission meeting minutes, LMC police officer recognition. Unless there's anything else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried, meeting adjourned.